Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Twisted Dice. We have another hopefully very cool painting tutorial for you today. I'm doing it, I'm Aceface. I don't have necessarily as good setup as you would have seen in some of our previous painting tutorials. I am working on that, so bear with me, but hopefully you're still going to enjoy this and take something out of it. If you do want to check out some of our other cool painting tutorials, I'll put some cards up on the screen so you can either check out our how to use primers, which is a really handy video, and we've also got a how to paint yellow in a slightly different style than I'm going to show you today, so check that out as well. And if you could hit that subscribe button and put the bell button on as well, so when we do drop a new video you get notified straight away. If you like what we're doing, you can also back us on Patreon as well, which really helps. But let's dive into this video, and today what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how you can get this really cool kind of very orky battered up armour, and how you can get this effect done really quickly, because this model here took me about an hour, if not a little bit under, to get him completely finished. And actually I could do him even quicker if I wanted to skip out a few stages. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And this particular technique, obviously I'm showing you on a Mega Knob, but it particularly suits any kind of armoured orc vehicle. So whether you're doing flyers, whether you're doing stompers, Gorkanauts, battle wagons, you name it, anything that's got a lot of coloured armour, this suits really well. And also I'm going to show you in our Twisted Dice unique style of orc, which is blue and yellow, but this works in any colour at all. So you can do this with reds, with blues, with greens, with yellows. I don't necessarily recommend it so much with blacks. You've got to be a bit careful how you deal with that. You're going to go more with a black on kind of silvery effect, but it definitely can work, so you can give it a go on that as well. But this is the effect we're going for, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Okay guys, so we're going to jump into this and see whether I can show you exactly how we deliver this very cool style. So I'm going to try my best not to block the camera so I can show you this through the stages. So what we've got to start off with is, I've done another couple of orcs here. Let's bring them into camera so you can see them. So these orcs I've just prepared, and they're exactly the same. The way that I've done it is, if I bring one up for you so you can see it, is I've gone in with a black primer. Again, you can see exactly how to do that really easily in one of our earlier videos. After going in with a black primer, I've then gone over with a pre-shade. Again, we talk about that in some of our previous videos, with a orangey red primer. Now I've got this one here, which I picked up from somewhere. I'm not sure this is easy enough to get hold of, but all you want is a kind of a red brick effect. You don't have to use primer if you've just got a ready brown colour. You can do that. If you haven't got access to an airbrush, which quite a lot of people haven't, don't worry. You can get kind of a ready brown rattle can, which will do the job just the same. So you can just whack that over the top just to give it this kind of highlights. So it looks, at this stage, it just looks generally quite rusty. That's the effect that at the moment we're going for. You want to make sure that the panels are looking quite red and quite browny, kind of rusty colour. You want to cover quite a lot of that black, make it look very kind of like browny, because this provides our base. So let's pop him down, and the tools we're going to use next, let's move our old ones outside. By the way, what I would say is the only items that I have taken separately is, if you are doing the Mega Knobs, they do get this mouth guard piece, that does cover up a majority of the face, and I didn't want that to happen, so I'm going to keep this one separately. Majority of the rest of this model is actually mechanised, so I don't need to worry too much about the rest. So I've just separated that off. So, okay, so now I'm at this stage. What I want to work on is just want to work on starting to establish that yellow colour. And what I've got for that is I've got some Avalet Sunset colour from Games Workshop, from the Citadel range. So what I'm going to do is give that a bit of a shake up, and I'm going to go straight from the bottle. Yes, you've heard it here first. Not that I'd recommend for most painting, but for this it works. And what I'm going to grab is I'm going to grab just a bit of foam, and you can get this from your packing, from all sorts, but you're basically looking for a little bit of foam. Rip it into the right sort of size. You don't want it to look smooth, you just want it to be a bit kind of rough. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pot, if I can bring it into focus for you, and I'm just going to dab a bit of that on there, so I have that. Once I have that in place, all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get rid of the excess paint on there. So I've got, it's still definitely there, but it's not too much of it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to literally cover most of the panels with the yellow. And I'm going to pick on all of the armoured panels. It doesn't matter at all if I'm going to get it onto the skin or the metal work or anything else, because we're just going to go over that afterwards. So don't worry too much. And this is, you're looking for very, very haphazard. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to be particularly careful. You're just looking to cover majority of the model. And with this, with the mega knobs, the arms actually just kind of come off quite nicely, so we can just move these off. So we're going to move them out of the way for now, and I'm just going to carry on just going over these edges and just giving them this speckleding effect. And you can literally do this as much as you like. Doesn't really matter. If you want them to be really battle damaged, you don't do it as much. If you want them to be mainly covered, you want to cover it as much as you can. So once we have got, and you can see how quickly this is coming together, once we have got to this effect, this sort of style, and as I said, you kind of look at it yourself and work out whether you're happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it like that. So let's bring him into picture there. So yeah, so you can see already that yellow is looking pretty good. I'm just going to pop him down. I'm going to do the same on his weapons. I'm just covering them. Again, you can see I'm really not being careful at all. I'm just putting them all over. And then the same with his gun. Now most of his gun is going to be potentially different colours, but that doesn't matter, because what we still want to be doing is just making sure that I'm not missing any of this bit, because I won't return back to this stage later on. So we just want to make sure that we've got a nice good coverage of that yellow. Cool, so that's the first stage already done. And actually, to be fair, if you wanted to just leave it like that, you can leave it like that. We're going to go a bit further than that. So after we've got that, we're now going to grab ourselves some Flash Gits Yellow. So most of the time I prefer to go with the air colours. I find the consistency is much better, but in this particular style you actually probably want thicker, because you do want to go straight out of the pot, because you're almost using a kind of dry brush style. So this is not as ideal, but this happens to be the only Flash Gits Yellow I've got at the moment. So again, we're going to give that a shake up. And as you can see, the consistency is much thinner. What we're going to do though is we're going to use, because by now this is very dry, so this is not going to, you know, to go into our other colour. But what it will do is it will give us, when we're patting it onto the model, it will mix the colours slightly. So, but I'm going to go straight into the top of it. I've got my brighter yellow now on the bottom, on the back of that. And I'm going to pat that down in exactly the same way until I'm happy that I've got rid of a good chunk of the paint. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to go in again and we're going to lighten up that yellow. And this is where we want to be a bit more selective. We want to make sure that we're going over the areas that are definitely going to be kind of the ones that we want to stand out and to look a little bit more yellow. So yeah, actually what you're kind of doing is you're going really against what would naturally happen potentially, because you're hitting potentially the panels that are actually going to maybe take the most wear, but it doesn't matter because this is a fantasy game, and actually what you're looking for is the overall effect, and the overall effect is really, really good. It gives you this really cool looking yellow effect, but looks muffled, looks battered, looks really, really cool and orky. So we're almost there. So yeah, I am pretty happy with that, and we have more or less done a whole model in 10 minutes, really, really quickly. That looks really effective. Again, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do the weapons, because some of this may well stay yellow. I'm going to go into that, and again onto his arm, because there are panels on his arm. I want to look yellow, and we'll pop these back on him for now so I can get an idea, make sure there's nothing that I have missed. Back on. And yeah, I am really happy with him. He looks really, really cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to now go in and start picking out the details. Okay, so I've got my yellow done. I'm really happy with my yellow. I can add some of the little lines if I want on the underneath of where the little cuts are on his armour, just to highlight them up, which I will probably do later, just to bring this up a little bit. You don't need to do that, it just depends on how far you want to take where the little scratches are, which if I can bring them in so you can probably just about see them there. So you can see there the little scratches. If you do a small underline in the lightest colour, you'll get a nice little highlight on those as well. So I'll probably come back and do them later, but you don't need to do that. So now I'm going to go in with the blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Cantor blue. Again, I've got the air, which is in my opinion much better. The consistency is almost perfect to go straight onto the model. I will thin it down slightly, but it's pretty much ready to go. Thin this off camera, lovely. And then all I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick the panels that I want to be blue, and for that I'm going to pick he's got some pads on his side here, so I've loaded up my brush. Again, it's nice and thin, but it's a base colour, so it's a really nice coverage. So just going to go over that again, just making sure that we have a really nice consistency. Yeah, I'm just going to go over that, and as I said, you might not have a second colour, which is cool, so you're just done. You can go in and do your metallics, but we like to have a bit of blue on the Twisted Dice Orks. Helps us use them for whatever we want. So we've got that. He's then got like a little blue badge here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it all. And the reason why I'm going to go over it all is because I want to show you the blue effect, and the way that we weather the blue, or give it that kind of muffled effect. So again, I'm just going to go over that. So you can see how that's coming out. So the blue's in there, that's looking cool. What we're going to do, I think, is we'll do his banner to match the other guy that I've already done. He's got this kind of banner here, so I'm going to pick the higher point of it. I'm going to make that blue as well. Again, it's that old chestnut as well, is where our paint's nice and thin, so we're not worried if it's necessarily giving us full coverage first time rounds, because we're going to go over it and give it a second coat as well. So I'm just going to do the back of it. The great bit about this as well is because it's Orks, it doesn't matter if it's a bit sloppy, it really doesn't matter, particularly as we're going to put additional effects on this afterwards. So pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to stop the camera now. I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to give it another thin coat and I'll come back. Okay, so we've finished the base coats now. What we've also done is I made the grille that you can see here. I've also painted the grille in blue as well. So blue's now done, and now I can go in and I can use the same effect that I did previously to get the blue looking really kind of damaged and distressed. So let's grab some of our blue paint. I'm going to use this blue from Minotaur, which is, I can't remember what it's called now. It is called Lagoon Blue. I really like it, but any kind of lighter colour, using exactly the same technique as you saw previously. We're working on that lighter blue or that lighter yellow, and with this I've got an even smaller tiny little bit. I mean, what I could do, save my fingers, I could get a pair of tweezers, that's what I'd recommend, and then you can literally use that to hold that little bit, because this one we want to be a little bit more precise, because we don't want to hit any of the yellow. As much as it's Ork and it can be a bit wayward, we still don't really want the blue paint to hit the yellow. And all I'm going to do on this is I'm gently just tapping the blue areas, and hopefully what you can see there is that's just starting to take panel on the sides a little bit bigger, so it makes it a little bit easier. So again, all we're going to do, and again you can pretty much do this as much or as little as you like. You can do it loads, you can just do it a little. So you can see on the side there, he's now got this kind of like mottled blue effect where it looks like some of his paint's being sort of chipped away. I'm going to do the same up on this little emblem he's got up on the top. And I'm just going to push that in so that highlights that up a little bit. Hopefully you can see it there. Quite pleased with that. We'll pop him down a second, and we're going to then grab the blue of his grille. I can be a little bit more firm with this, as I don't have to worry about it going into any of the yellow, but again I'm just going over that, gives me a nice little bit of highlighting. Hopefully you can see there, gives me quite a cool effect. Okay, so that's both my blue and my yellow done, and as I said, you know, really with this particular model all I would need to do now is paint the face green, and do whatever additional detail I want, and he's ready to go, he's ready to hit the board. You know, you can do the base and you've got yourself a model done, and actually you could probably turn that guy around in about 10 to 15 minutes really quickly, and actually you've got a really good effect there. And an army of that's going to look great, going to look really good. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add the details in and show you what the final model looks like at the end, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit up his face. I'm not going to go into details of exactly how I paint the flesh. If it's something you want to see, I can do another video of that. And we've got another great video in our archive on how to do Ork flesh, and I will put a card up so you can click on that and go and see that video if that's what you're looking for today. But if not, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to in another video if that's what you'd like. I'll also go in and do the metal work, and I'll do the red wires and bits like that, but that's all very much simple stuff. We'll come back and we'll have a look at how it looks at the end. And we're back. So what I've done just off camera is I've just finished off these, and I've finished off the other model as well, just so you can see the completed unit. I've just got to finish off the bases on these, so I will put some stills so you can see exactly what they look like at the end of the video, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So as you can see, all the blues there. So the only little extra bits and pieces that I've done that you can do, it's completely optionary, is I've just used some rust pigment just around some of the blue and around some of the metal, just to give it a bit more of a worn out effect, just to kind of match in. And as I said, I've just washed down the red and finished off the face. As I said previously, I'm happy to do a video on how I do the orc flesh. Really happy with how it comes out. It comes out really nice. But if it's something you're interested in, just let us know in the comments. But yeah, hopefully you can agree that it's a really nice finish. Super simple, super quick. As I said, this unit I could probably easily do within an hour. And then you've got a really beautiful looking orc, and you could use this, as I said. I've used this for these mega knobs, but actually the whole idea of this video is to show you how you can do this on mechanized and kind of coloured panels, if you like, for orcs. You can also use it for other races as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be used for orcs, but that kind of worn out effect is very effective. So yeah, so hopefully this video has been useful for you. If it has, again, please do like, comment and subscribe. And let us know what we can do better. As I said, I don't quite have the right camera set up currently for these type of videos, but I will be investing in that, and if you want to help and support that, you can support for our Patreon, but these videos will get better. But hopefully you've enjoyed it, and until the next one, we'll see you soon. Bye for now.